Greetings, my friends. I hope this finds you well and enjoying your day or your morning whenever you happen to see us. So, this weekend is Independence Day weekend. And that's always an interesting inquiry to me because I think of Independence Day as really a day of freedom or a day of liberation. And while there's the outer holiday that may be celebrated differently this year, I think there's the inner inquiry of what is liberation? What am I to be independent from? Where is freedom? What does that mean to me? And I think it's more, particularly in these times, it's independence or liberation from our worries, liberation from stress. And certainly life gives us stress, but how do we manage it? And so I thought today we would take our practice time to inquire into it and inquire into where do I find myself caught? That really is the dependent. Where am I kind of what we call in a realm that I can recognize and meet with a kindness and choose something skillful? There's a wonderful teaching that says to pay attention to the presence or absence of goodwill, goodwill in the heart and the mind. And if it's there, keep it there. And if it's not there, replace it with some goodwill, some good wishing. In the Book of Joy, His Holiness and Archbishop Tutu talk about the 8 pillars of joy. And so we look at how do we create, they would speak of it as mental immunity. And they speak of mental immunity as learning to avoid the destructive emotions and develop the positive ones, which really says the same thing, right? How to avoid, but then if it happens, what do we do in the midst of those destructive emotions or mind states? And so we build our inner resources, right? We build our inner resources of compassion and gratitude and love, right? And joy, so that we can keep turning to that inner resource. So today, if you have a bolster, please have that for yourself, or 2 blankets that you could stack up, or a block and a blanket you can use. We're going to do, hopefully, at least 1 or maybe 2 restorative type poses at the end. We'll do a few yin practices. We'll sit together. We'll do pranayam. And really, my hope in sharing any of these practices with you is to share practices that have made a difference in my life. It's the only place I know how to teach from, and that you can have for yourself. Today, I found myself in a realm, and I just stopped for a moment. I pulled out my bolster and I did just a few things on the bolster, and things began to shift inside. The stress that was beginning to manifest in my body and the anxiety in the mind just resolved itself a bit. And so it's a remembering to use all of the many tools that we have. They really are the path, right? The path that bring us back home to recognize our true essential nature that is already awake and whole, right? That is really love itself. So if you would, take your seat. And when you do take your seat, and if you're sitting cross-legged on a cushion or a blanket, sit at the edge of it and gently draw the fleshy part of the buttocks back. Take a look at how your legs are crossed, and if wherever they are, lean back, uncross, and cross the opposite way. It might feel a little odd at first, but it helps to change the habits and create more balance, right, in the system. And then excuse me, get grounded and grow long. Close your eyes for just a moment. Just take 3 or so long breaths to settle into your seat and feel where you are. Meet this moment as my dear teacher and colleague Sylvia Borstein continually reminds us and reminds me, it's now become part of my own repetition in my heart and mind. Meet this moment fully. And may I meet it as a friend. That means bringing my heart, that awakened heart to it. So any of the joys or the woes, so meet yourself right here and now. Let it be, as I often say, an interesting inquiry or investigation. And before we really sit into it, interlace your fingers, and as you inhale, stretch the palms away. Inhale, lift the arms up, slide the sacrum down, lift the heart. As you exhale, slide the sacrum down and round, press the arms away. As you inhale, press up and gently arc. And as you exhale, round it. Do that one more time. This time as you're rounding, stay there for a breath or two and just imagine that a dear one is holding your hands and you can let go in the spine just a little bit more. On the next inhaling breath, lengthen the spine up, reach the arms overhead, lift the heart. As you exhale, release the arms and either just bring your hands behind you to press on the earth or interlace your fingers. And then stretch the arms away. And feel the invite. It's an invitation, right, that the heart begins to expand. And if you want a little more, you reach back a little more and lift the pinkies up. Big breath in as you exhale. Let a little sigh out. One more time. And then release the hands. Let your hands just float back. You might even let them move a little bit in space. And then gently bring your hands to rest on your legs, palms up or down, or even in your lap, right? Holding your own hand. You might even let thumbs touch there. And once again, feel the earth beneath you. Visualize the sitting bones going down into the earth, the energy of the sitting bones reaching down and rooting. And then as you inhale, breathe that energy right up through the sitting bones as your spine begins to elegantly lengthen. The neck grows long and the crown rises to the heavens. The shoulder blades slide down the back. You might notice as you breathe how the arms might move a little bit, creating a little space away from the side of the body. Once again, meet yourself. Take inventory of this precious one here in this body and mind and heart. And we take a moment to take refuge. This is one of the skillful ways to remember who we are. And the more we do this, the more we strengthen that muscle of that which is already awake and whole. So remind yourself, from now until I fully awaken, I vow to take refuge in loving awareness, my true home. And just touch into that for a moment. Home, right here, right now. And of course, we're human. We stumble. We find ourselves caught in worry or stress. And it is in that moment that we can make a choice, right, to be free, to make a wise decision. So from now until I fully awaken, I vow to take refuge in the path of loving awareness, the road that leads me home. And that's what we're doing here today, walking the path, the practices and teachings. And we come together in community and Sangha, and I vow to take refuge in the Sangha, those who aspire to live awake and free, my teachers, my friends, my spiritual family. And right now, if you feel, you might notice there's a inner shift. And we remind ourselves that we want to live from the heart that is awake. So, from now until all suffering is experienced as liberation, I will bring benefit and happiness to all beings. What if we each decided each morning that that was where we wanted to live? And because we're talking about being liberated from that which keeps us from wholeness and a lightness of being, if you'd like, join me. We'll chant the Ganesha mantra, which really is about, releasing any obstacles. Right? The words are Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. So I'll chant it once, and then we can chant it together 3 times. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Together 3 times. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And allow the outer mantra to fall away and feel the effects. Mm. 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 And so as you breathe now, just letting your breath be at a natural rhythm. So often we do work with breath in a particular way, but so important not to struggle. So allow your breath to find a natural rhythm. And then begin to visualize as you breathe, breathing right up from the root all the way up through the invisible spine to the crown. And as you exhale, right back down to the earth. In this way, we awaken that energy right in the center of us, that vital energy center of the Sushumna, the central channel. And it gives our mind a place to rest. So whenever we find ourselves lost in story or worry, we can use breath or visualizing to come back home. And in this way, we raise the vibration, lighten, turn to the lightness of being that we are. And then remembering the practices of blessing and gratitude. And so then, just holding yourself in your own heart, wishing this precious being right here, as we take a few moments of metta, loving kindness, or unconditional friendliness practice. May I feel safe. May I feel safe. May I feel safe. May I feel content and happy as I am. May I feel content and happy as I am. May I feel healthy and strong. May I feel healthy and strong. And may I be at ease with what comes my way. Or may I live with ease with what comes my way. Take a few moments and let those phrases be that blessing for yourself. Hmm. And then, if you would, take a moment to bring into your heart, your mind, a loved one or many loved ones who, one by one, show up for you, have kind of loved you into being. And one by one, as you perhaps see them or feel them, as they appear to you, first I recommend a moment of gratitude, just a gentle bowing perhaps in your own heart and mind, a thank you, and then a blessing to them. May you feel safe and content. May you know peace. And they might just show up one by one or a group, and then, oh, so grateful, thank you. May you be happy. May you know peace. However the phrases come for you. So in this way, we open up and think of others, not only ourselves. It's a wonderful way to get out of our own self-absorption. And then just let us widen our circle to include all beings, just for a moment. All the people we know and we love, and those we don't know or challenged, near and far, just wishing all beings, may all beings feel safe. May all beings feel content. May all feel happy and strong and healthy and strong. And may all live with ease. And just sit for a moment or two, this blessing practice and the gift of it in your body and mind and heart. And as we move forward, take a moment to set your own personal intention for yourself. How is it you want to be with yourself through this practice? Is there something you'd like to receive? What is your intention here today? What is it you'd like to be liberated from? And if you'd like, please join me. We'll come together with the sound of Om, taking a breath in. Om. And you know, every action has a result. So feel the result of sitting and blessing and gratitude and mantra. And with your hands in prayer, just bowing to your own heart. Jai Bhagwan. Namaste. Mm, Blessings. And then let your body just release a little bit from sitting on its own. And then right where you are, if you would please simply slide your feet out to make that little triangle, or not diamond pose, not triangle. We'll start our first pose as I often do after sitting, because this one pose is wonderful in decompressing the spine. So a little dog tilt. And then just gently let your spine roll down. Now, if you'd like a blanket here or a bolster or blocks, please place it across your feet or simply place your elbows on your shins. Your hands can rest on your forehead. Let your spine gently round, because the rounding, as I said, decompresses the spine, right? And when you meet that first edge that feels appropriate for you, pause there. Meet yourself fully. Wow, maybe we didn't know that there was so much tension in the back, or maybe there's more freedom than you imagined. So we want to bring forth those qualities of compassion and forgiveness, even to ourselves for any way we may have been unskillful. And then when you meet a tension, take a breath and relax what you can. I also want to speak for a moment as we're in these poses. We're here typically 3 to 5 minutes, and I hear sometimes that it's hard to stay so long. And I want to remind us that you're in charge. When you come to the edge, you find the appropriate edge. Sometimes as we stay, it begins to get a little hard at the edge, and so we can back off a little bit. If we're meeting up with a restlessness, then that's our experience to meet with. So we really don't want to just run away. I often say, just like our life, this practice is not all or nothing. So we're growing actually in being tolerant. We're growing our tolerance for life as it is. So we can accept this feels a little unpleasant. And I'm noticing that my mind is quite aversive to it. And then that is the experience. It's not good or bad. The mind tends to go to those places of good or bad, blame or shame. So interesting. And so it's very important also when working with these pillars. One of the mind is really also humor. Like the mind is really quite funny in a way. All these things show up. So we can widen our perspective. Have a God's eye view or a witness view of what's happening. A humility that not only am I feeling challenged in any moment, but I know that others do too. And smile at yourself. This is what's happening. A level of acceptance. So, right here, your breath is with you always. So, begin to let your breath grow long and silky smooth, which doesn't mean it has to be any particular way and or length. So, find what the inhale is, and I usually count 1 ohm, 2 ohm, 3 ohm. See where your breath goes. And let your exhale match it, or even a count longer if possible. So notice if like the mind is competitive and thinks you should be breathing longer. No, breathe as you breathe. And truthfully, if you exhale a little longer, it will allow the inhale to be a little longer because you've created more space in the lungs. Relax the muscles. Remember, they're passive. You're not engaging them. And rest here. Just another few moments. You're doing great. In these last breath or two, just let your body fall in where it's able to. Hmm. What are you willing to liberate yourself of in this moment? Hmm. And to release, bring your hands to the floor, lengthen the spine, or just roll it back up to the center. You can reach back and lean into your hands, stretch out one leg and then the other. Let your legs just fall where they fall, sink into the shoulders. Take a breath here. And feel the effect of where you've been in the body, in the mind, in the heart. Perhaps some little place has loosened a little bit. You've been a little bit liberated, huh? Over the next few moments, if you would come on to your belly as we move into the Sphinx or seal. So please come onto your belly. Bring your elbows just about shoulders width. You can take hold around the upper arms, and the shoulders are just about an inch or so in front of the elbows are about an inch or so in front of the shoulders. Your hands can be in prayer in front of you. You can support your chin or support the forehead. And for those of you who want more or might want to move into more, you take your hands to the outside of your mat and then press into them, lengthen the elbows. But just let the body kind of sink into the shoulders. We're not going into your traditional kind of seal or cobra. Remember, it's held by the bones. So I invite you to close the eyes, scan around in the body, right from the feet and the legs. The legs are probably a little wider or maybe closer than hip width. Let your legs fall where they fall. You might notice a habit of the way you're used to doing this pose and just let go. And then awareness climbs up the legs as the thighs grow heavy. The belly soft on the earth. Allowing the lower back to kind of sink in. There's a lumbar curve that we tend to lose as we move in our life, move on in our life. So it's an important pose to do. If you are compromised in the lower back, you need a little more stability, just slide your sacrum down a little bit. Okay, just enough. And then let awareness climb up the spine as your spine just kind of dives into the back. The muscles along the back, imagine them like feathers. The shoulders might even rise up a little bit because remember, we're allowing the bones to hold this body. Notice what's happening in the muscles of the face. We begin to see all the things we can be liberated from that we might carry unconsciously. Isn't it interesting to see how a body responds to a life day to day? Beautiful compassion practice of Tonglen when we meet with our own or another's challenge or suffering. So often in life we tend to push that away. But here in this practice, we're willing to breathe in that feeling of suffering or hardship. The feeling might feel dark. But as we exhale, we're willing to breathe out into that place of suffering, a softness, a lightness, love itself. And we recognize that not only am I or this person feeling this, but so many others might struggle as well. Mm. So we can breathe in the challenge, the suffering, and breathe out a little kindness, maybe a blessing, a warm blanket. Mm. Take a few more moments here. To release, if you're up with your arms extended, let the elbows come down. And if you're already there, spread the elbows. Let one hand come over the other. Let your forehead rest on your hands. Pause for a moment. And if the body feels taxed in any way, take your breath and take your awareness there, your loving awareness. And then please bring your hands next to your chest. Come up onto all fours. And then come and bring your hips over your knees. Bring your forearms to the earth. And then take your hands out to the side of your mat and slide them forward. Let your elbows begin to relax. Let your chest drop through. Now your forehead come to the earth, or your chin, or maybe a cheek. So half dog. And just feel how you can invite the heart space to drop down. We'll just do this for 3 minutes. We get to feel, so interesting, what this body holds on to, particularly in the back body. So again, maybe that big breath in, and as you exhale, whatever is no longer serving, may I be liberated from. Recognizing what really isn't serving us anymore. And only you know, right? Is there some way you need to forgive yourself or another? Sometimes a simple phrase, for any way I may have harmed myself with my thoughts or my words or my actions, I offer forgiveness as much as I'm able. Or for another. When we're holding on to some hurt, it's us who is suffering. So as much as I'm able. Or to another, or asking forgiveness. If there's any way I have harmed you with my words or my thoughts or my actions, I ask your forgiveness as much as you're able. And then offering forgiveness to another for any way you may have harmed me, consciously or unconsciously, with your words or your thoughts or your actions. I offer my forgiveness. As much as I'm able, I offer my forgiveness. And then compassion for yourself, for where you feel ease or challenge in this. Acceptance. All of this really is an act of generosity, another quality of the heart, another pillar of joy. Forgiveness and gratitude. Gratitude for these beautiful teachings that life has brought me to this place that I can hear and practice and make choices. Cultivate a wise attitude, a loving attitude. Another few breaths. And to release, please bring your hands under your shoulders, come up into table, and gently round the spine. Slide your sacrum down, tuck in your chin, round it. Breathe there for a moment. And then release the spine. And if you would, please come to sit at the edge of a blanket or a cushion. And again, sitting at the edge. And let your legs just fall where they fall. Okay? So for me, my legs are slightly wider than hip width, and the legs tend to turn outward. And for me, in the forward fold, my knees need to bend a little bit, so the hinge happens from the hips, and you might experiment with that. It's not, for some of us, it's even more, but some of us have a straight leg, and we're leaning back, and then the weight goes into that SI joint, and often we walk away from a class in discomfort. So find the place where you can hinge a little bit, and then allow the hinge. And then just walk forward a little bit. And take your time, breath by breath. Your hands can slide down the legs, either on the floor, on your legs, or the feet. Or you might support the head as you've done in other poses. And you meet the edge that feels manageable for you right now. It doesn't matter how far you go. It matters that you're willing to be with yourself. From that place of perspective, this body and this mind and this heart, from that wider view, we recognize that these are all changing states. This is what's so right now. It may be different in a few moments or tomorrow. Doesn't matter what it was in the past. We recognize that all conditions of body and mind and heart are forever changing. This really can bring about a happiness, a joyfulness, peace, because we know this too shall pass, both the pleasant and the unpleasant. And if the body opens a little more, you might straighten the legs a little more, ease yourself in a little more, and you meet the next new interesting place to investigate. You offer gratitude for this precious body. And this is the way we cultivate our and strengthen our resources, our inner resources. This is the way we liberate ourselves from worry and stress by choosing something wise, wholesome. Of course we stumble and fall. That's why we have all these practices. We're human. And we find the joy and the humor in things. One of the things that I love to do when I find myself in a realm, for me, I put on a video of my 2.5-year-old granddaughter. She brings a smile to my face and joy to my heart, and that's all that's happening in that moment. Some people love to watch little animal videos. Sometimes we just have to get out of what's happening right now, change our view, and find some joy. And it might be a momentary joy, but it's enough that it shifts, so we're not going down that rabbit hole of fear and worry. So in these last few breaths, just ease into where you're ready to go. Hmm. And then as you release, bring your hands by either side of the leg, either roll or lengthen your spine up. Pause for a moment. Hmm. Hmm. And then for a simple twist, bring your legs, cross your legs once again. And take the left hand on the outside of your right leg or your knee and your right hand behind you. And just begin to establish the center. And then just gently twist into it. Now, it's not like we would typically do the twist where we're continually moving in. So just move in to where you meet the edge. Now your head can be center or looking over that right shoulder. Hmm. And relax into it. And it may not feel like much is happening or you're doing something, but you're being here. And in that, number one, by being in a twist, something's happening by being in a pose. But here, all the internal organs are being massaged. And then you might find the breath, that ally of breath, and feel how the body naturally is moved with breath. How rest with breath invites the mind to just settle down a little bit. And if by and by you want to go a little further, just go to the next little edge. But then you scan from the crown down and relax. If there's a way the body's efforting, see if you can let go of the effort. It's kind of an effortless effort. Just here, just now. You notice places that feel pleasant or unpleasant. Breathing in, I'm aware of breathing in. Breathing out, aware of breathing out. One more breath. To release, lift the back arm and slowly unwind back to the center. And pause there and feel each side, feel the quality of your breath. Take a long breath in and out without struggle, just your breath. Mm. And then find your way into the other side. Right hand on the left leg, but if you went that way, go the other way. Hand behind you, and you just kind of find your way in, turning belly, ribs, and chest. The head might turn and look, or maybe it stays center. Hmm. 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 In these few minutes that you're here, I'd like to share with you the Buddha's words on impartial kindness or friendliness called the Metta Sutta. And so just hear it, okay? You don't have to do anything about it. Maybe something will call out to you. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. And he offered these teachings to the monks, right? So, of course, we're not monks, but we're living this householder life, and we may not know the way yet, but these are instructions. He says, let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Pause and just breathe that for a moment. Hmm. So a phrase or an instruction might stand out to you. He goes on to say, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Hmm. Just blessing everybody. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will. So whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one having clarity of vision, and being freed from attachments, is not born again into this world or into suffering. So sometimes take a breath here. Mm. To release, lift the back arm and unwind it. Mm. And then just notice how you feel here. Notice if some words stood out for you. It's really about being reborn into each moment with a kind heart, where we take care of each other, take care of ourselves. Mm. If you would now take your bolster Or if you have two blankets, stack them. Bring that right behind you, whether it's a bolster or two blankets, right? And come to sit at the edge of it, or even a block and a blanket. And then come down so your sacrum and lower back are supported and your upper back's on the floor. And just pause there for a moment. And then gently draw one knee in and then the other. And just wriggle in a little bit so the leg bones kind of settle down into the hip sockets. And maybe this is enough for you. But if it feels appropriate, you can lengthen the legs. And you can just even have a soft bend there so the legs just kind of dangle into your hips. You might even like to roll the ankles a little bit. And then the other direction. You might even like to stretch the legs out wide in a big V as you inhale. And as you exhale, hug them to each other. And if you like, do that a few times. Just inhaling wide. Exhale, hugging. One more time. And then bend your knees and take one leg and cross it over the other. You might even tuck that foot under the shin or the ankle, or just crossed. And then just hug the knees towards your belly and then draw them away a little bit. Just move it in and out a little bit. And the next time, find the place in the center and just take a breath or two and just kind of hug the legs towards each other. And then unhook that foot or just uncross the legs. And then cross them in the other direction. And just bend the knee, just kind of tuck it under there and over. Or again, just crossed. And just gently ease them in and out. And just find the place in the center. Pause there for a few breaths. One more breath. And then release. And again, if possible, just lengthen the legs. And let's stay here for a few moments. This pose helps to balance and quiet the nervous system. As you scan down from the feet and down through the ankles and the legs, see if you can just relax a little bit. These legs that carry us through our days. And then as awareness scans down through the torso, see if you can bring awareness to the heart and the belly and invite the heart to be open. A loving blessing to yourself. And then gently bend the knees. Give yourself a nice hug. And then gently release one foot to the floor and then the other. You can even stretch your legs out and give yourself a whole body stretch. Stretch your arms overhead. And then to release out of this, bring your feet to the floor, come up onto your toes, lift your hips and slide that bolster down. As your body comes to the earth, pause there for a moment. Now, it might be time for rest for some of you, but some of you might like to draw your knees in or There might be a movement that's being asked for. So I really encourage you to take a few moments now to invite the movement in the body, the flow of energy as it expresses as you. Hmm. And sometimes I just ask this body, what's needed now? If there's a place that you need to breathe into to release, do that. This is your time. It's all your time, actually, because you're just moving and listening. I'm just offering you some possibilities, but you are with you. Only you know. Only you know when you close. Only you know when you're open. Only you know what needs to let go so that you can know yourself as that liberated being that you really are at your essence. Mm, mm, mm. So take another few moments and set an intention that this movement bring you to rest, and watch how that intuitive knowing brings your body there. Mm. And then take a few moments to find your way to rest. Perhaps you take that bolster or blankets and rest them under your legs. You might like a thin blanket under your head or a little towel under the neck. Perhaps something over the eyes. And then over the next few moments, allow the body to splay out on this earth. And for just a moment, as you inhale, make fists with your hands and draw your shoulders up to your ears and squish your face. Hold, hold, hold. Create tension. And as you exhale, let it go. And then as you next inhale, tighten your legs, tighten your feet, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then let it go. And the next time you inhale, your whole body, just squeeze everything in, your arms, your belly, your chest, your legs, your face. Hold, hold, hold. And then let it go. And then allow that letting go. Excuse me. And as we do that contraction, out of the release, more and more tensions begin to soften as you rest here on this earth. Hmm. The back body softens, front body relaxes down into the back body. Hmm. And again, whatsoever does not serve, may I let go, may I be liberated. And then bring your awareness right to the crown of the head and invite the crown to relax, to open. Hmm. And then invite that open relaxation to flow down through the face, down through the throat, the shoulders, the arms, and the hands. Hmm. You might even notice the vibration in your hands. You don't even know where the hands and fingers begin and end. And then as you inhale, you can breathe that vibration, that open healing right up through the arms, over the shoulders, into the heart. It's as if this is a healing, it is a healing vibration flowing down. And you let go into that vibration anything you no longer need, just through your intention. And that healing vibration and light flows down from the heart to the solar plexus, to the soft belly, lower back, down through the pelvis, down through the legs and out through the feet. Mm. You might even feel how the outer body begins to dissolve to that vibration that you are. It really is the vibration of love. So rest in that vibration that you are. So as the sound of the bell begins to come into your awareness and the sound of my voice, and just a gentle invitation back to the moment. You can take a nice full deep breath in and out. Feel back into the body, right here, right now. Mm. Begin to invite a little movement back, organically moving and inviting you. Gradually drawing your knees to your chest and rolling to one side. Hmm. And then gradually pressing up to sitting. Once again, sitting on the edge of your cushion or your blanket. Get grounded and long and find your seat. This seat right here in the center of you, always here. Hmm. And then if you would take your right hand using your thumb and ring finger, and we'll do a little alternate nostril breath just to create a balance. I recommend doing this breath every day. So with the right thumb, closing the right nostril, exhaling and slowly inhaling through the left. At the top of your breath, close with the left ring finger, close the left nostril. Release the right and exhale. At the bottom of your breath, inhale. At the top, close. Release the left and exhale. Continue in that way, inhaling through one side, close. Release the other and exhale. If along the way a gentle pause happens at the top, rest in the pause and then release. Let's continue for just a few more breaths. Perhaps you remember the mantra Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. You can include mantra with this practice. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. But silently, of course, in your mind. The next time you exhale from the left nostril, let it be your final round. Rest in the gift of this practice. With the breath just coming and going. Really nothing to do and nowhere to go. Simply being right here, right now. And as you feel into this moment, perhaps you reflect on our practice. Notice any highlights or insights. And then notice again, you here now. That really is the gift of your practice. The feeling tone in this body and mind and heart. Perhaps a sense of connection, peace. Take a moment and go to that place that is wise, all loving, And from this place, I ask, given all that's happened here and given my life and the world, what is that I need to know and remember as I step back into my day? What is the knowing just for me now? And then listen, you might hear a phrase or a word or just a feeling. And if that comes bubbling up, then just repeat it to yourself. Or if you have a journal, you might want to write something. Mm. And then take a moment of gratitude. This is one of the pillars that we're cultivating. Remember our pillars that we take with us of perspective and humility and humor, acceptance, forgiveness, gratitude, compassion, and generosity. What can we give to others? Watch where we're grasping and give to others. And so now, as an act of generosity and gratitude, first we just say thank you, gratitude for all that we have received. And then, as an act of generosity, we share the merit of our practice so that it might bring some peace to all beings everywhere. It is an act of generosity to give it away. So if there be any merit to our time together and our practice, may it swiftly reach out to touch all hearts everywhere, all hearts without one exception. Mm. And if you'd like, join me. We'll close with our dedicating mantra. We begin with Om, and then we say Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu 3 times, and end with Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So please take a breath. We'll start with Om. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all beings everywhere know peace and joy and love and light. May peace prevail. And if you would please bring your hands in prayer at your heart, bowing to your own heart. Jai Bhagwan. Namaste. And as Dr. Elson Haas says, Namaste home, Namaste safe, and Namaste healthy. So from my heart to yours, many blessings. And until we see each other again, take care of yourself and please take care of each other. Blessings to you.